Oh, what is up, everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to the PE news video. Today we're going to be talking about a couple bigger topics from the Nintendo stratosphere, the Nintendo Switch realm, and Shigeru Miyamoto and what he has been saying recently as he's been promoting Super Mario Run across the United States. So I first want to preface this by saying these are just my own opinions on things. It's not necessarily 100% fact what I'm going to say afterwards. I just want to give you guys my opinion on how I think this is being interpreted and some of the things that I feel is a little bit off with some of this stuff that Shigeru Miyamoto is saying, or not necessarily off, but just stuff that he can do in addition to Nintendo to where they can actually execute on these things that they're talking about. So let's go ahead and get right into it here. So Shigeru Miyamoto was recently attending an Apple Soho store to talk about Super Mario Run, which is coming to Apple's iOS platform on December 15th. So Mr. Miyamoto did field some questions based on the attendance that were there, and they asked just basically like, hey man, what's going on with Star Fox? Like, what's the deal with it? And this is what Shigeru Miyamoto had to say on there. He said, quote, "Yeah, I always wanted Fox McCloud to be a bit more popular than he is." The crowd went, "Aw, but I think one more would be Pikmin. So I think these two I'll need to put some energy into." So I want to talk about this because Star Fox used to be one of Nintendo's marquee franchises. Honestly, it really was. In the Nintendo 64 era, Star Fox is one of their best-selling titles on that platform. I think it sold over 4 million units, and if you count Star Fox 64 and all of the remakes and the virtual console and all of that stuff, if you combine all of those sales, I'm pretty sure the sales of that game would surpass maybe 6 to 7 million. If you talk about everything, the 3DS release, all the virtual console re-releases of Star Fox 64, it's a very popular game. But there's a reason why that game was very popular, and I think the reason why that game was very popular is something that's hard for Shigeru Miyamoto to understand in the first place, because back on the Super Nintendo, Star Fox necessarily wasn't his complete idea. That was also a Western studio that helped them out with that. And that game, that franchise, was built on tech. It was built on the highest, best quality graphics that you can get for that system that it was on. It was built on that. It was built on pushing the boundaries for technological wise and multiplayer wise once it went to Star Fox 64. The reason why you've seen a dip as far as Star Fox, in my opinion, is because they have not been following up with that boundaries that they are pushing from the very beginning. The first thing was graphics. That's the first thing that you noticed with Star Fox back on the Super Nintendo when I was a kid, and what everyone was talking about at school was, dang, this game looks amazing. Now, when they went to the 64, same thing. They're like, man, this game looks amazing. The graphics, the gameplay, the multiplayer was something so new and innovative to us, okay? But they failed to follow up on that, in my opinion. On the GameCube, the biggest thing was online. Up until that point, Star Fox had always supported all the newest type of things people were doing, whether it was multiplayer right there on your screen, local multiplayer, whether it was the best graphics. On the GameCube, they went away from that because they did not include online. They did not push the boundary with all the tech that they've done in the past. They did not keep on adding the layers in there. Yes, 4-player local multiplayer was already in there, but they already did that with Nintendo 64. They needed to go a bit further, and I think that's where just the slight decline of the franchise started. It really needed to be online to take advantage of what people wanted, which was the best graphics, which was awesome multiplayer, and online. I really do think that it messed up as far as the GameCube not having online, that game, like, where the fans started kind of going away from there. And then you move that forward. We did not get a release on the Wii. So even when they had a control scheme and they had online, they did not do it, and I think that was a critical mistake as far as the upkeep of the Star Fox franchise. They really needed, if they were going to do it, if they were going to keep this franchise popular, they really needed to make sure that they came out with the Star Fox on the Wii that took advantage of the control scheme as far as pointing goes, and have online multiplayer dogfights or online co-op right then and there. If they did that, I think Star Fox would be in a different place. Now, we all waited for a new Star Fox game, right? We all wanted to see it, especially us in the 25 to 30 range and up, you know, people that grew up with Star Fox. We're all waiting for this game, and we're waiting for this game because it's been years and years and years since we last saw a console Star Fox game. Heck, it was 2005 or something like that. We've been waiting, and what do we get? We get forced motion controls, we get no online multiplayer, and a really short campaign. So Miyamoto kind of destroyed this franchise with that release, because when you take that much time off, you don't want to come back with something that's just so weak in so many areas. The Wii U is much more capable. It's so much more capable of what it did. And the fact that it came out and that's what it was, was a little disappointing as far as Star Fox on the Wii U. Really, it really was, because people wanted to see basically what they saw when they were growing up, which was tech being pushed, which was online multiplayer being redefined. Star Fox hasn't lived up to that since Star Fox 64, and that's why Star Fox 64 is the best in the franchise, pretty much, for a lot of people saying, or at least a lot of people remember that game the most, and it sold the most because it was up to date. Once they started cutting corners, okay, they started not doing what they did beforehand, that's when Star Fox Decline happened. And on top of that, they skipped the Wii, which was an online system and which had a control scheme that would suit Star Fox, and they just skipped it. But they had plenty of money and time to make a Star Fox game, and they never did it. And they could have got a third-party developer to do it. They could have done so many different things, and they didn't do it. And then when Star Fox came out on the Wii U, it was just, I think, somewhat of a slap in the face that many fans saw. That's why the game hasn't been selling, guys, because I know some of you guys are going to be like, oh, but the controls are great, and oh, this was great. Well, then why isn't anyone buying the game? That's the thing. Like, it's one thing to sit here and say, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good. But then if you look at the fan base of the Wii U and people who have purchased their games, because you've seen a lot of people purchase Bayonetta, which was more of a niche game. You've seen a lot of people purchase other games on the Wii U, from Mario Kart to Splatoon to all these things. Star Fox on the Wii U has sold like barely 300 to 400,000 units. I don't know if it's even gotten there yet, according to VG charts. It's sold really bad. So people purposefully, Wii U fans purposefully, did not go out and buy Star Fox on the Wii U because they were not happy with what they were doing. If Star Fox is to be popular going forward in the future, Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto, please listen to these words. I know you probably won't, but please listen to these words and listen to what the fans want. The fans want with Star Fox, they want the best possible graphics that your system can display, and they want online multiplayer that pushes the boundaries. And please, no gimmicky controls, standard control options for everyone playing the game. That's what Star Fox fans want. That's what we were expecting leading into the GameCube release. Now, the GameCube did some great things. The graphics looked great, and the multiplayer was good for local, but it really needed to take that next step. With this next Star Fox game, if there is another one, please, graphics need to be on point, online multiplayer needs to be on point. Alright, and it needs to be able to play regularly. You can't have some type of forced control scheme or forced gimmick into there and completely derail the way people love to play Star Fox, especially from Star Fox 64. You look at what they did with the 3DS title. That game did well for another remake. I think sold well over 1 million units on the Nintendo 3DS. So please listen to what I'm saying here, and Star Fox can be popular again. It really can. Now with Pikmin, I think it's not necessarily in the same case, because Pikmin never sold over 2 million units on the GameCube, so I don't know what they're going to do to make Pikmin more popular. I just think Shigeru Miyamoto likes Pikmin the most, so that's why that game is even still being here, and there's even more being made because Shigeru Miyamoto likes it. Not necessarily because there's a bunch of people running out and buying it, because I still haven't seen a Pikmin game that has sold more than 2 million units for Nintendo, yet they're making Pikmin on the 3DS, and now they're making Pikmin on the Nintendo Switch. So I just think that Shigeru Miyamoto is pushing that more than the fans buying that game, because Shigeru Miyamoto has released multiple Pikmin games now, and not one of them has broke 2 million units. Not one individual release has broke 2 million units, but it's still getting more games. So it is what it is there. So let me know what you guys think here. Remember, this is just my opinion on what they can do in order to make Star Fox more popular. Just kind of following up on those old school fans and what they want. But that's just my opinion there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks, and everything in gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.